What up, nerds, and welcome to another blood-sucking episode of Straight Chilling, the weekly horror movie review show where you chill and we kill, slice, dice, and chop up yet another horror movie. My name is Bob. I'll be your host for the evening. This is episode 466, recorded Monday, March 11th, 2024. Tonight we're talking about another Patreon pick. This was chosen by your boy Naderade. The movie is Ticks. And before we get into the review, let me introduce everyone else on the show tonight. First up, calling in from Washington, D.C., we got your boy Randeezy. What's up?
Wait a tick.
What's going on, buddy? How you doing? Welcome back to the States.
Hey, thanks for having me. I got a nice tan going. You know, I got my base ready.
How's your Lyme disease situation looking?
Got it in spades. I didn't want to brag.
Oh, hell yeah.
You know,
Ooh.
it's all the
Good
rage.
for you, buddy.
Had a lot of limes this week. Next up, calling in from South Korea, we got your boy Soju. What's up, man?
Oh, howdy, partners. It's your boy, Farmer Stains.
You farm stains? You grow them?
I farm them up.
Good for you.
Yeah, I've got a little steroid use in there, though, so be careful. They'll blast you.
You got a switchblade comb in your pocket to wipe away the sins?
God. We'll get to that.
Yeah, we will.
Wipe away the sins. God damn.
Untangle some shit.
Last but not least, making his debut on Straight Chilling, everybody welcome our longtime friend of the show, Hydraberg. What's up, man?
Yeah.
What? Thanks, guys. Please call me Panic, because I never do.
Damn, you're so cool. Fuck.
I'm suddenly doubting you. I
I
don't know why.
I called Justin pre-ejaculation for a similar reason.
Yeah.
Because I never do. My boy Pre-Jack over here.
That's my boy Pre-Jack.
That sounds kind of cool.
Is that a prequel to Jacko?
It sounds good.
Like,
it's just because he never does, you know? I mean, that's how you come up with nicknames.
That's how.
That's how it's done.
Hydraberg.
They call me Pants Shitter.
Hydraberg, thanks so much for sitting in with us, man. It's definitely been a long time coming. You've been a long-time supporter of the show, a long-time member of our Slack community, and you also have a really fantastic podcast, actually two fantastic podcasts that you've started up on your own here, and I would love to let you tell the folks all about those.
Yeah, thank you, Bob. Thanks for inviting me, by the way, guys, on the show. That does mean a lot to me. You know, we have history. I've been listening to you guys for a long time, and it's great to be included in the conversation tonight for Ticks, the seminal classic. I have a podcast. I have a podcast that started through your Slack chat. John, Jacqueline, and myself, we met there, and John asked me to start a podcast with them. I asked Jacqueline to join us, and that was almost 3 years ago. We have a Cut Above horror review. It's much like your guys. We kind of use you guys as a template, if you will. I mean, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. But yeah,
we certainly don't fix it.
It's just fun to get together and talk with your friends. We've developed a friendship over the years, and it's just fun to do the show. It's a work of love. And I don't know, I started doing the producing after about a year ago, and with that, I kind of came with some confidence of like, I think I could do another show. And I was talking to somebody else that had guested on my show, and we threw together Cinemigos, which is like a similar show where we recommend movies to each other and take turns hosting each week. And we're introducing each other all different genres. We're just staying away from horror because I already have a Cut Above.
Yeah. I hear that.
All pornography.
And I have you guys to thank, basically.
Japanese.
Your community was the springboard for that. So
yeah, we are endlessly proud of that effect, and the number of people that have started up their own thing in relation to us doing this bullshit is incredible. So
it's crazy that it's been 3 years. It just like sticks in my mind. I have this distinct memory of like exactly where I was when I listened to y'all's first episode, because y'all threw it up like, hey, this is our first, like, could y'all, give some, and like, for some reason it's like stuck in my mind. And now anytime it's like, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, I'm always like, holy fuck.
Know. We almost have 150 episodes out.
Crazy.
Yeah,
that's crazy,
that's amazing.
Yeah, it is. I still don't consider myself a podcaster. It's weird. even though I have two.
Just give it 10 years, and then maybe you
still won't.
Look, trust me, that's a moniker that most people could do without anyway. So
yeah.
I don't want to be identified that way.
I'm an internet radio host. That's what I am.
Oh yeah,
there you go.
That's what the resume padding says.
Yeah. Hire me, please.
I'm a horror movie curator.
Mine says Cooter Hunter.
There you go. Oh, get all the jobs, buddy.
Cooter Hunter. Yeah, I like that badge.
Right at the top. That's the main job.
Have you heard of our podcast?
Soju Stains, Cooter Hunter Extraordinaire.
Official hunter of Cooters.
we just gotta have you.
Not a lot of callbacks, but they'll get me one day.
Been looking for a couple years.
Tough job market out there.
I'll get a deep resume.
COVID and everything. It's been tough, but it's coming. Yeah. It's coming.
Yeah, lockdown. Still living in it. Thanks so much for sitting in with us, man, and definitely check out Cinemigos and A Cut Above everywhere you guys get your podcasts. Let's tackle just a little bit of housekeeping real quick here before we get into the main event. Our April poll is currently posted on our Patreon website. If you guys support us at the $5 level or above, you get the chance to vote on a movie we're talking about this April. The theme for April is April Fools.
Oh, shit.
And if you are unaware, we got hacked by the robots this month. We got taken over by AI, so we don't even know what the movies are. Neither do you guys. The AI provided some jangled up posters where you can't really read the title of the movie, but they were kind enough to provide some extremely vague-ass plot synopses as well that we can read, so that might help you guys get your vote on.
Bob?
Yeah. Oh,
how those numbers looking? I don't. It's hard for me to. It's hard for me
it's
to.
Harder to jump in.
Bob, what the fuck do we do now?
Bob, shut the fuck up and tell me what the numbers are.
I don't know. I don't fucking know. The numbers are: random film option number 1 is sitting at 15% of the vote.
Ooh.
Random film option number 2, 77% of the vote.
Wow.
A commanding lead for mystery option 2.
I know, dude.
Yeah.
People love it. Option number 3, 8%. There you go.
Wow. I'm curious what's driving people to vote.
I think 2, if I'm not, there's one of them that I looked at them briefly, and there's one of them that I started thinking of that I kind of knew what it might be.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. There have been some guesses thrown out.
Maybe that's the one, and people are kind of just circling around that for right now, because that's the only one they can guess so far. Because you can move your votes, and we know that people do it last week.
We do know that.
Oh yeah,
fuck.
Still waiting on that update from Patreon.
Yeah. So
this will be in the lead all month, and then suddenly it'll be option 3. Suddenly,
90% wins it all.
Yep.
After Randy made all the graphics, of course.
Oh, not a chance.
That is a bummer.
Lesson
I feel
learned.
bad for you.
No, that lesson got learned last time. I ain't playing that game no more. That shit gets made day of.
Good for you. Get those votes in before the end of March. We'll see what movie we're talking about this April. In other Patreon news, we're dropping mini casts every other Friday. We're dropping a brand new one this Friday, March 15th. We got something a little bit different. Randeezy's coming at you talking about a video game.
That's right.
Nice. That's cool.
Whoa, Randy, I didn't know you played.
You're a gamer?
I'm a gamer, I use gamer fuel.
And a
got that on the resume, huh?
I do, yeah.
Do you drink balls? Do they still make that?
I don't know if they still make that, but
they used to have crates of it at the computer store, like Circuit City, right by the registers, just for all the nerds.
It was a very specific period in time where balls energy drink was available at every tech shop in America.
You never had any balls?
I don't think
Our good friend Tyler kept balls stocked in the house. I remember that. And that's a very Tyler thing to do, and I know he did it just because the title is funny to him.
Shouts out to Tyler.
Yeah, love you, Tyler.
Tyler's been on before, right?
Yeah, he has.
I think if they're a friend of ours, they were probably in those first 60 episodes.
Yeah,
he was part of the random New York City call-in when we were reviewing Halloween 2018. He was on that.
That's right.
And The Burning, he was on that, and probably some others that I'm forgetting. But Randy, what video game are you reviewing?
Oh, yeah, I guess we should talk about this. It's a game called Inscription. That's with Crypt, spelled CRYPT. It is both a turn-based card battling, card deck building sort of game, and also like sort of a horror and escape the room kind of. It's a very much a blend of games, and I played the shit out of that game last year for like 2-3 months, egregiously, and I decided, it's time to put this thing on the record, and I did a little review of that thing, and I highly encourage some of our Patreon patrons to take a listen. Hopefully, it's a good time.
I'm sure it is. How could it?
You're selling it really well.
I think it's interesting that you did a mini cast about a video game, though, and so, because a lot of times people do like a visual video about it or whatever. But I'm interested to listen anyway, just to hear like your enthusiasm about it. I think that would sell people on it.
One day we'll actually record that BioShock episode that we tried and failed to record.
I think I might have what we recorded. Yeah, well, back when Randy played, I was like, oh, I played it too. We should talk about it. And like we got cut off halfway through or something. We're like, we'll finish it.
That's too bad. There's a lot to talk about with the movie too.
Oh yeah, I guess.
Maybe we should review it for the movie coming out.
Time to ride the wave.
Rumblings about another possible project coming out again with it, because there's a new one maybe coming.
Yeah, that's right. There is. Me and Corey talked about that on his podcast, Twinbee, a while ago. So I guess it's slow moving on the news front. So yeah, but I always enjoyed the BioShock games.
Yep. But anyway, Inscription review. It's a very fun game, indie game, and I have a lot to say about it. So check it out.
Check it out this Friday over on our Patreon website. In other Patreon news, we are reopening the You Pick the Flick tier this Sunday, March 17th, at an undisclosed time of day. This is the only way you can outright pick a movie for us to review on the show. There's only 5 spots available per quarter. They typically go pretty quickly. You just got to check our Patreon website throughout the course of the day and see if the tier's open. If it is, grab you a spot. That is Sunday, March 17th, St. Patrick's Day. Don't get too fucked up too early. You might miss out.
You might.
Or you might pick something you might regret.
And you can never change it.
Nope, you're locked in. Once those words leave your mouth.
But we can.
Yeah. Should I flex?
Dude.
Oh, Berg.
Shit.
Heavyweight champion. Oh, my Lord.
That's this man has
out of here.
I always knew you had a lot, but yeah, seeing them all together with the stickers, whoa.
So
I'm the same way though. I can never commit on anywhere to stick my stickers, but
I'm thinking about like maybe putting them in like on something, a board, and framing that or something.
Yeah, that'd be tight.
That'd
be cool.
We send out custom VHS stickers to everybody that picks a movie for us to review with the title of the movie and our rating and the date we record it and all that and stuff. Hydraberg is gotta be the highest, I think, when it comes to number of movies chosen for us to review.
Gotta be.
Do you know the number off the top of your head, Hydraberg?
No, I'd have to count them. It's like 13 or something. I don't know. I gave one away.
Yeah.
To
I thought you meant like
Blood
you gave
Diner.
A sticker away. I was like, no,
I gave one away for the Blood Diner. My first one here's The Burbs. It's from
hell yeah
2018.
Oh, you're wearing that tee.
Nice. Oh, that's an awesome
t-shirt.
I like that faded.
Good one, man.
That's crazy.
Are you gonna try and grab one this Sunday, or are you gonna let it ride?
14. I am gonna try and grab one. I think maybe
get that 15th pick.
I have an idea for a pick or an idea to do something with my pick, so I don't know. I might try and get in the game.
Nice.
You guys heard it here first. You got stiff competition.
I know.
I can only get one, so you don't really have to worry.
True. Yeah.
Yeah.
Capped. Rad, yeah, check that out this Sunday, the 17th. You pick the flick tier. I got a couple more things. I got a lot of shit, actually. So we, at the time of you listening to this show, we will have just dropped a new episode of Let's Get Physical Media. And if you guys are interested in picking up Blu-rays, 4Ks, DVDs, anything of that nature, check out Let's Get Physical Media everywhere you get your podcasts. Mikey and I actually had the pleasure of hosting Hydraberg on that as well, so you get a double dose of Hydraberg.
Double dip.
Double dip.
It's a takeover week.
Yeah, it is. Hydraberg had the thickest February pickup stack. So
shocker.
Yeah. Oh wow.
Well,
look at that.
I told Rob I had some, right? That was enough that they were like, oh, maybe we'll invite him on. And then once I got the invite, I was like, I have a couple other purchases I kind of sped up. I was like, well, I don't know if I'll ever go back on, so I might as well come on with the nice haul, you know?
Gotta impress
our
the boys.
podcasts stimulate the economy. Put it in the resume.
There you go. Yeah.
Yes. Happy to enable you, man. And thanks for sitting in with us over on Let's Get Physical Media, dude.
It was fun.
It was a lot of fun. That was our longest just like monthly pickup episode we've ever done. It's a solid 2-hour episode.
Yeah.
We talk about
collectively how many we talking? We thinking like
I'm thinking you might have to listen to find out. I don't know.
Yeah, 60
not for
plus.
me. I mean, I didn't have that high, but collectively,
I'd say
maybe.
over 50 titles. I think probably.
Yeah. I'd say
it's a lot. Check that out. And the last thing I got here is we are also going to be hosting a Joe Bob watch party this Friday, March 15th. They're doing it's a Roger Corman double feature. It's sort of like so this is something that they recorded over the summer at the Jamboree Live, and they're showing that this Friday. So it won't be live this Friday. It's a little bit different. They're breaking format a little bit here. I don't know what the movies are. I'm sure somebody does because this has already happened. I think it happened like last July out in Vegas, I think is where they hosted it. So something a little bit different, but we'll be doing a watch party nonetheless this Friday the 15th at 9 p.m. Eastern. If you guys want to join the watch party, I'll post a link on all of our social media outlets just before showtime, so you can join in on the fun.
Cool.
There you go. That is officially
always a good time.
all I got. Yeah, man. Yeah, you've sat in for quite a few of those yourself.
I have. I've been kind of like slacking on Joe Bob in the past couple seasons. I watch here and there, but because it falls on the same day I play D&D, so
priorities.
Stuff. Yeah,
I got you.
But I still love the guy, and we all know I love Darcy.
We know this. Yes,
yeah.
This is the deep lore.
Never in doubt.
It's in my resume.
Love Darcy. Anything else you guys want to mention?
I'm all set.
Clean.
All right.
This house is clean.
All right, let's get into the main event. We're talking ticks, and we're kicking it off with the back of the box.
What's on the back of the box?
Talking ticks.
Talking ticks. We're talking ticks.
We talking ticks. Welcome to TikTok.
Yeah, damned. Bob, you had this box, even though you didn't have last week's box. That's fine. That's okay.
Thanks, man. Thanks for giving me the pass.
You know what? This one's for free.
You're a real friend.
Bob, how long you had this box? Did you get it for this cast?
No, I actually already had this. I picked this up. I think this came out on 4K last spring, summer, so about a year ago.
4K. All right.
You gotta have it on 4K.
You've got to.
Is that Scream Factory? Who put that out?
This is a Vinegar Syndrome release, and they did.
Let me see that slip.
Vinegar Syndrome does it up, man. It's got a slip cover and like this really thick cardboard
it's
case.
one of those, yeah.
One of these boys. So you get like 8 different types of art. It's like
holy shit.
Is that out of print? I would pick that up.
The hard case might be, but you can still get the regular disc. Well, 4K.
No, I need the hard case. I got to pay $1,000 on eBay.
You got to do it. You just
those boys at the Vinegar Syndrome. They know how to polish up a turd, don't they?
I was about to say for
really
this kind
do.
of movie, man. That's a lot,
dude. They do that. Yeah, they do.
For worse, they do it for worse, much worse.
I know they do. That is more what I'm referencing.
They
even,
go nuts.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're talking Ticks from 1993. This is rated R with a runtime of 1 hour and 25 minutes. This is also known as Infested. For those of
I
you
saw that.
Maybe saw that, yeah.
For those keeping score.
For those keeping score at home. Directed by Tony Randell. Stars Rosalind Allen, Amy Dolans, Seth Green, Alfonso Ribeiro, some other wonderful folks. Plot synopsis brought to you by the back of the box is as follows. One of the quintessential creature features of the early 90s, Tony Randell's Ticks pays loving tribute to 1950s giant monster movies, updating the formula by adding copious amounts of slime, and heavily increased bloodshed, starring Seth Green, Alfonso Ribeiro, Rosalind Allen, all the people I just mentioned, and a very memorable appearance from Clint fucking Howard. Vinegar Syndrome brings Ticks to 4K for the very first time, and a never-before-seen extended version featuring comprehensive interviews, etc., all the bonus features you'd ever want, and more. This is just an advertisement for Vinegar Syndrome.
All of them. I don't know.
Really selling.
Can they reach such a high summit? I doubt.
Bob, how much do you want for your copy?
$8,000 and it's yours.
It's priceless.
What a steal.
Yours. I don't know what this is. Priceless. It might not be out of print. I don't know. So we're talking Ticks, ladies and gents. Have you seen this movie before? And would you recommend folks check it out? Heidelberg, why don't you kick us off, man?
Okay. I have not seen this movie. This is kind of like one of those movies from the 90s that I probably would have passed when I was younger because I just didn't, I don't know. I was like, that's dumb, you know what I mean? But now I'm into dumb stuff. So like, now I'm okay to waste my time and go watch something like this on Tubi. So I would recommend it to certain people. I mean, if you like these kind of films and you're into horror, I wouldn't, not your aunt that doesn't like anything horror and, this isn't going to win her over. But if you like creature feature stuff or, I don't know, camp movies, I think this is worth it's an hour and 25 minutes. So yeah, I'd recommend it slightly.
Heidelberg says, you've got the fucking time. Watch it.
Yeah.
Randy, what about you?
Yeah, so I did actually watch this. I think I brought it up on What You've Been Watching, I don't know, like a year, 2 years ago. I don't know. It could be longer. I have no idea. But I definitely brought it up on the show once. I watched this once on basis of being completely undecisive about what I wanted to watch. I was like, you know what? Fuck it. It's got young Seth Green. It'll be interesting. And so I watched this. And yeah, this is a movie that I do not have strong recommendations for. I think that this movie borders on Mystery Science Theater 3000 territory without the jabs. With that in mind, I think it would be a lot of fun to sit around fucking with this movie on with your buddies with a drink, our classic situation. But as a loner that watched it this time, I don't recommend that really.
Right on. Juice, what about you?
Yeah, not strong recommendations, but honestly, it's kind of a fun little creature feature. Campy, very dated. So it's not a strong recommend, but I don't think it's the worst time. And I think, young Seth Green, it's not like a huge selling point. He's not going crazy or anything in here, but sometimes it is fun to see those movies, like Texas Chainsaw 4, to see some bigger actors with their humble beginnings and stuff like that. And definitely this, is as cheesy or as cheap as it might seem, it's not too bad. So yeah, I think for some campy creature feature B movie fun, I think you could definitely do a lot worse than this. So, I recommend for the right kind of mood. Bob, how about you? Would you recommend people check this out on 4K exclusively?
If you're not watching it on 4K, you're not watching it, okay?
You're not experiencing it.
You're doing it wrong. Yeah, this is a light recommend from me for all the same reasons. Yeah, this is definitely one that would be best suited with buds and beers as opposed to alone. But yeah, it's not terrible. I think you're going to see some recognizable faces. You're going to get some blood, guts, and gore, some crazy creature effects. And yeah, it's a decent time. It's not the best time. It's not the worst time. It's all right. So light recommend.
Yeah.
And it
make sure you invite your buddy Pre-Jack is what you're saying.
My boy Pre-Jack and a bottle of Malort.
He always comes early.
My favorite cheese. Pre-Jack.
He's never late.
Yeah, Pre-Jack, slice it thin.
What is that? Is that just mozzarella? Is it no?
Buddy, you don't want to ask that question. My God, what I'm gathering.
From under.
All the cheeses. Heidelberg's a cheese boy. He knows his cheeses. That sounds like a.
Well, this is a Naderade pick after all.
Ooh. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, my boy from Wisconsin. Brought to you by cheese. Light recommendation, I think, across the board here for Ticks.
That is a generous reading.
I'm a generous man. Let's go ahead and we're going to spoil the shit out of this movie, and here comes your warning.
Spoiler warning.
So typically I would blast through the plot synopsis in this specific point of the show. However, Hydraberg, over on A Cut Above, you're the plot synopsis reader, but you kind of put your own twist on it. You want to let the people know how you do it?
I do what's called the Hydraberg reach-around plot summary, which is basically just a fancy way of saying I write my own synopsis, and I do it in a rhyming format. It just kind of became a thing on our show.
You're a poet.
So I do it each week, yeah.
Whoa.
And I just try to synopsisize the movie a little bit and make it rhyme somewhat. So
cool.
Let's go.
All right. Camp Madeline, a special place where tic sacs burst right in your face. Steroid pumped, genetics laced. Out in nature, the wilderness project. Ticks the size of your head make you convulse and vomit. An infestation in motion, there's no way to stop it. Terrors of horticulture, massive ticks invade horror culture. Jerry the perv, Melissa, he tried to touch her. Vampires of the insect world created by goo. Don't panic, because I never do. B-ball with Carlton, there's always something to do. Shoot me, the grower insisted. Eaten from the inside, he yells, I'm infested. An attack at the vet, because the dog had ingested. A tick had burrowed into Daryl's body, burst out with blood all over Holly. Now Sir reaps the rewards of his folly. As Jerry from guilt crashes a van into the house, now all of Sir's plans have gone south, raining down ticks as he shoots lamps from a couch. Barricade the door and board all the windows, 'cause here comes the ticks mutated by Indo. Their bloodthirsty rampage from weeded did grow, a PSA for drugs to just say no. Now is the perfect time to panic, his body mutates, danger looms. A mutated tick spells certain doom, but Scotty, our hero, saves the day with a broom. The whole house burnt down around it, the broom did the trick. Away in the van, drive away quick. But under the muffler, evil lurked, dug in like a tick.
Hell yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Keeping the beat. Yes, it's true. I'm keeping the beat.
Hell yeah.
Brought it back.
That's for you, Naderade.
Dude, the rhyme with horticulture and horror culture, off the charts.
I figured you'd like that one.
Loved it.
That's a bar, as I'm told
As the
As the kid said.
by the youths.
Sick bar, brother.
Did you guys notice right in the beginning, there's a production company called like the Overseas Film Group. It
Yeah,
just seemed
man.
like something from The Simpsons or like.
Dude, that seems
Parody.
like the most shell company of all.
Yeah.
Oh, it's
Film
real.
group.
Oh, it's real.
I was like, what the fuck is this thing?
That's
They're not
the
noticed
worst
that.
front of all time is what that is.
Not Affront Films.
I kind of want to check out their catalog now, though, and like see what other things they
It's
put out.
just this. They pocketed like $100,000 off the top, just
Oh man,
left.
Yeah, this movie, we gave them $1 million budget. I don't know what happened to the other 900,000.
Blame the
Nice.
director. I don't know. He squandered it.
did you guys? You saw Brian Yuzna? Yuzna is an executive producer.
Yeah.
An EP, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was surprised by that poll when I saw that.
You know, that made sense to me, honestly. I didn't notice it the first time I watched this movie, but like there's a lot of creature effects and stuff like that like I feel like don't fall too far from the using a tree. Unfortunately, it doesn't have like the awesome and ridiculous characters or anything to kind of like to help prop that up a little bit more.
Or any commentary or anything of that nature.
But I feel like that had to be like a lot of his involvement is just like maybe guidance on that stuff or like, I don't know.
He might have
That's
brought
what I
You might
some
be
of
right
his-
because everything was shiny and like that's all his horror is like real goopy and shiny looking.
He's a goopy man.
That's what they say.
He could have
That's
brought
what they
some of
say.
his like slime brewers over, or like some of the guys that do animatronic work for his other movies. I didn't see any names that I recognize, like Screaming Mad George, or I know he worked with him quite a bit.
Nah.
But it's got that Yuzna kind of feel, though, in general.
Yeah, it feels like we got to wash your hands afterwards. That's the feel.
Yeah, but nobody fucked one of the ticks, so it didn't. That's how you would have known if it was a Yuzna.
Damn.
Yeah, when there was no ticks with yabos. Is that
Yeah.
what
Oh
you're
my
saying?
god.
I feel like Jerry would have if he had the chance. If
Oh,
he was given the
absolutely.
opportunity.
I don't know. Sir might be I think he's the extra creeper in that situation, personally.
I've
can
always been
definitely
a
get to that.
creeper.
We got some.
What's that?
Yeah, we'll get.
Oh, sorry.
Have a cooter off.
I said we'll get to
here.
that.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah. That's.
Yeah, you were saying the same thing.
Yeah. For some reason, like this time around, I always, when I'm thinking of Clint Howard, I always want to say Glenn Howerton. I don't know why. I'm always
Well,
just
I mean, it rhymes.
oh yeah, I know. It was fun to see him in this. I went into this movie completely blind. I didn't watch any trailer, like look anything up about it. I even clarified before I clicked. I was like, is this from 1993? Because the little synopsis on the video was like straight to or direct to TV or something movie. So I went in completely blind, and it was just and even old seeing Carlton up in this show, I was like, holy shit, fucking Carlton,
Hard ass Carlton.
Hard, dude. Oh man. Now I will say that is the piece that has aged the worst. Ooh, that's bad. That's really bad. Yeah.
This feels like it reminds me of Fear in the way that it feels like it was written by somebody who's never talked to a young black man in his life.
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, that's a good call.
It's against type too. It just doesn't even fit.
It's hard
him as an actor. I feel like
it's hard with him specifically, but even if you did try and remove the Carlton from your brain, it does not work, man. It's like, what was that line he said? He's like, only way to survive out in this jungle. And I'm like, oh my God, was this written by a fucking DARE officer? Dude. Like, what is happening?
When they first show him, he looks like a Judd Nelson, throwback or something. He's got that trench coat and the b-ball.
Well, he's the whole joke about him being in Fresh Prince too is that he's a small guy, and so they literally have to stand him next to Seth Green, who is just somehow a smaller guy, to somehow sell that he's somewhat intimidating, because I think he's pretty small. So it's just ridiculous. Every line that comes out of his mouth is way over the top, but I don't think it's necessarily meant to be. I
don't know. There's the one where he's like, I always thought that I might get killed in a drive-by shooting, but not my dog.
Not my dog.
Not my dog.
I mean, he's putting his.
That scene was
Carlton. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, the dog stuff was tough to watch because
it's always tough. But Alfonso, he's putting the work in anyway. Like he's chewing the scenery a lot. But he's putting forth a lot of effort, it seems like. And I think there's a number of actors in this movie that aren't putting forth that much effort, or either that or are being toned down to death. I was kind of upset this time because even the first time I watched this movie, I did not even notice that Peter Scolari is in this movie, who plays the adult man that goes
Charles
out with them into the woods. Charles, if that's his name. And I recognize him from he was in a bunch of sitcoms. He was in, I think, Bosom Buddies with Tom Hanks, which I never saw. But I did watch growing up. They had a Honey, I Shrunk the Kids TV show, and he was the Rick Moranis character in that.
Oh, wow.
And just by osmosis, I learned to really like him and that show and all this stuff. So I was excited. I was like, oh, we get to see some Peter Scolari in this. And how did I not remember that? And the reason is because they give him fucking nothing. He is a nothing character. And that is a great actor.
My favorite moment with him is when he's trying to get his bang on in the house and the kids are trying to start a fire outside and they can't fucking figure out how to do it. And they're making a lot of racket. So he runs out there half naked, just screaming at all these children.
That's his only moment.
I'm busy honestly. In there.
Yeah. I like the moment
where time he gets to talk.
Yeah.
When he's got the recorder
comes by. Yeah.
By the window and he's taking notes.
Yeah, that's right. He does an Agent Cooper in the window for just once for no reason.
Which is kind of where his character should have went if they were going to do something with him. Give him he's helping these kids out. They never really developed that though. I thought there was going to be this sort of Dream Warrior sort of thing or something where he's helping these kids out here, and there's going to be a moment of therapy where they're all in group, or there's none of that.
Or when he comes through in the clutch or something, but in the end he gets shot in the ass and he's basically out for the rest of the movie.
The end's it's solved with a broom.
Yeah,
they drive away in a van.
This movie's they defeat the villain in this movie the same way they defeat the goddamn Wicked Witch of the West.
Wow, I don't know. To be fair. But there's another character, Kelly, the girl who goes fishing, who does nothing. Yeah, I thought that they were going to develop her. He
had a tender moment too when she talks about being raped, and Holly,
very bluntly, by the way.
Yeah. Because Holly's supposed to be this sort of mother, surrogate mother to Melissa, I guess, but They don't develop that either. You see elements of it, like she tries to touch her back or whatever, but none of it's developed. And there's this like tender moment where she tells her like, oh, she helped me out a lot. I didn't want to talk to anybody after I got raped, which would have fit well in a movie that was developing stuff like that. But yeah it's like out of place.
It seems very hollow, and which is unfortunate because that's a pretty heavy topic to fuck up with. And so like, but I really thought it was hilarious that she went from saying nothing to going fishing and just like, come on, what are you doing? Get the fish. Come on. What are you doing? Like, just like all of a sudden,
get in the
chatterbox. Like, come on. You don't like, you didn't speak. You found no reason to say anything for like weeks at a time. But now this is like completely flipped on a dime for no reason other than you just chose to. Like, I don't know. There's no reason for any of it, I guess.
It's great writing, Randy. You just don't get it.
You don't get it. But I will say the effects were really, I mean, where it really shines or where I was, enjoying myself was the ridiculous kills and the goop and stuff like that. And even, it's as sad as it is, or as effective, I guess, as it is, when they take the dog in and the tick is inside and then even when they find, what's his name and he's like, shoot me.
Clint
and he's
Howard.
all swollen. Clint Howard. Yeah. He's all swollen. Yeah. And that's, I mean, all the tick stuff. And then when they rip out of Carlton that giant tick at the end because he was taking steroids, I mean, it's ridiculous. Bro. But
is that what that was? Okay,
yeah, because I think
he took a steroid.
He took it because he got shot, and I guess they were trying to use it like adrenaline. I thought they were like. I think they just mixed up their thing.
Yeah, there's that moment where he got shot and he's like down and he pulls out the bag and he's like, oh.
Yeah. He just nibbles on a syringe or something. Like
no, they were the pill ones.
Or they pills? It's tough to tell what those even were. But I don't know. Mike, I'm going to do the unthinkable here and try to apply logic to this for a second. Yeah. Why is there there's no they pull out the ticks, like he gets bit and then there's just a tick inside. That's not how ticks work. It's not an alien.
The head was still inside.
Yeah, but they still don't breed inside of you when they do that.
I mean, technically, the Lyme you can still get Lyme disease and stuff like that if the head's inside.
But Lyme disease doesn't look like a tick.
Yeah, no, exactly. It doesn't mutate into like a huge tick.
Yeah, I don't know
where that came from.
Yeah, but I mean, to be fair, it looked pretty good at ripping out of his body and like limb by limb and stuff.
I like the little head split. That was very like Dead Alive. Yeah. I like that.
The little guy scurrying around and their effects were cool.
Yeah, I loved the scene when they were at the veterinarian and she was trying to take a blood sample and the tick kept like sucking the blood back out of the needle. And then after it jumps out, she stabs it with the needle and it's running around with the needle sticking out of it. That whole moment was like really, really like super fun, super gory. It had like a little bit of that like just general autopsy vibe. Maybe think of The Thing a little bit actually, but that whole bit was awesome. And Clint Howard in general, I think is probably my favorite part of the movie. His introduction where he's brewing coffee is what you think it is, but then it looks like he puts like some sort of cleaner or something in it. Like something.
No.
That's steroid.
That's because they do a little line drop where they're saying that the local farmers are using like a kind of a steroid for plants.
Yeah.
They're not supposed. Yeah. Okay. Whatever.
Did you see the sign at the general store? It's marijuana. It's got the H. Marijuana.
Dude. Yeah. There's some real, there's some real drug panic shit happening.
Whatever he puts in that mug, he drinks himself though.
Like, I mean, you got it.
It's some shit that no human should put in their body, and he drinks it, and he's like, yeah, that's good.
I want kombucha or something.
Look, I'm not going to be heavily in the business defending this movie today, but take a look at Clint Howard in this movie. I don't think you need too much explanation.
He got a gnarly earring. A little feather.
Oh, yeah.
Got some drip going.
He pulls it off. He pulls it off.
I do, while you're talking about it, so just so we're clear, the super ticks are essentially created by like a tincture. Like,
or something
in a sense, like an extract from the weed, and it fell on like an egg sac at the bottom somehow, and that created The super
fell
taste
through the cabin.
Well, I thought it was just a steroid that's used for the weed, but
whatever he's brewing, it gets on a tick.
Got
some sort of
it.
Yeah.
It's
I
steroid.
took it as like a mix of the
Sludge.
two. You know what I mean? It's like an extract from the weed because the steroids were put into the weed, and now it's extracted through the weed.
Yeah.
And then the goop
It was
fell onto.
thick goop, but
It was.
It
was,
is anti-weed, anti-steroid.
it's sticky icky, it's the good shit.
Dude.
I also like the bit that they throw in here that like because of this whatever drug, and like the veterinarian just knows this immediately somehow. If you get bit by the tick, you hallucinate. You start seeing wild shit.
They're not super consistent with that,
They're not.
though,
That's
because some
fair.
people get bit.
Melissa
That
didn't.
Well, and also that redneck gets bit like 10 times, and he's
All over his
strolling. He
face?
comes in. Yeah, he comes in with ticks all over him, and he's
Yeah.
fine.
But to his credit, he's probably drunk on moonshine already. So like,
Well,
Sterilizes the body.
the
head
syphilis
cannon
is
is thick.
really kind of counterbalancing the toxins.
that guy was horrible. The way he walked up to Melissa and just started touching her hair.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Very upsetting.
He also, so Jerry is a creeper who the dude has to brush his teeth immediately. They look gnarly. But like when they first meet the crew and they get in the van and drive off, he's sort of watching them drive off longingly, and he's holding a bullwhip in one hand.
He's
and
got
then
his whip.
his other hand is he's like grabbing his own ass. Did you notice that? It's like,
I didn't notice the
man.
ass grab. Look,
he's
I
working
get
through
it.
power
I
bomb.
get it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they're like gonna rape my boy Carlton over there. I mean,
Yeah, there was a little bit of that Deliverance vibe going on there, wasn't there?
Yeah.
I haven't seen a movie with like villains of this mustache twirly, unabashedly just pure fucking evil in a while. Like it's been a minute. I was more like Jerry was repulsive, but like it's like he's made to look disgusting and all this shit. Like I was more intrigued with Sir, who I don't know, man. I don't even know what to say about this guy. He's just like the
We'll get to
ultimate
him.
level Cooter. I just don't know what to even fucking say. He's everything. This actor is chewing the shit out of the scenery. Like
Yeah.
there's nothing left. He's just I feel like he's in a totally different movie than most of the people in this. It's like him and Alfonso Ribeiro.
His wardrobe looks like that. For sure.
Yeah, they're in
he's
like
a different
fucking
movie.
Airplane, and everybody else is in some other movie. Like I don't know, like it's fucking ridiculous. The comb and like, oh god, what can you even say?
You think those were all choices that the actor made? For
I
his
think
character?
so, and like
I
good,
would like to think.
I
So.
feel like my
I just
guy
hope
would wear an ascot. And yeah.
He's an ascot kind of guy. That's a
Yeah.
good call. Yeah.
He's
In
got a
fact,
belt
in my
buckle
mind, he is wearing an.
and one of those
He reminds me
switchblade
very
combs.
much of Jeremiah Sand. I'm just telling you that.
Ooh,
Like,
not with as much pull though, you know.
yeah, I mean, he just gives me that Sands vibe, which I think will come into play later tonight.
minus the artistry.
Yeah, he's not an artist, that's for sure.
Yeah, he doesn't
a
jerk off to his
farmer.
own music.
It's not a songwriter.
But he comes up and he's just like, it could not be clear. Like he comes up and he's like, be careful out here. There's those sharecroppers out here, and everybody acts like somebody growing weed is the most terrifying shit
Yeah.
that could possibly happen in the woods.
The
And
90s.
that made me laugh a lot. I'll be honest.
You could
like,
put like the spooky little Scooby-Doo soundtrack behind him as he's explaining all that, and it would fit perfectly.
Have you guys ever seen Without a Paddle
Yes.
with
Oh,
Seth
yeah.
Green?
never have.
Yes.
Mm-mm.
Dude, this movie could be like a prequel sort of kind of deal. Like
Yeah.
it's similar.
It's a funny ass movie. That's a good one. We should
Yeah,
follow
it
it
is.
up next week. Let's do it
Okay.
as a horror movie.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know. Seth Green's kind of got a little bit of development going on, but not in any kind of.
They don't really go anywhere with this. There's no moment of like I guess with the broom, but where
Well,
he like conquered his phobia or whatever.
Of just being in the woods.
Well, that's the thing. It's like,
I guess.
Yeah,
Well,
his
here's-
anxiety.
here's the thing. Yeah, that's the thing is like he has like I guess general anxiety, but it seems like like what he has a problem with is the movingest fucking target the whole movie. He says it's like a bunch of things like, oh, I just don't like being alone. Oh, I just left alone once or whatever. Oh, I sometimes I just can't have panic disorders. Like it's not focused, and then ultimately he's like, wow, I got over my panic disorder, and like he never seems all that panicked. Like I don't know about you guys, but he's underselling everything.
No.
In
And
my
I don't know what
opinion.
everybody else's problem is. What's Rome's problem?
I don't know.
What's Dee Dee's problem?
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know.
Like,
Kelly, we know.
How are they trying to help these kids by just taking them into the woods? They're like not.
Well, they act
And then
like
having
they know
sex
them
when they're
too.
outside instead.
Yeah, they act like
when
they
they-
go all the time.
Yeah, they pull up and they're like, "Hey," they're all.
It's like
talking.
heavyweights,
Good to
where it's like,
see
oh
you
yeah, I go
again.
every year, but that was a joke. And
Everybody's still sad. Right on. Let's go to the woods.
Yeah,
dude.
That'll make you more happy.
You know what pairs horribly with this movie is the documentary that I was going to bring up and what you've been watching. Called what is it called? The Program, and I also mentioned one called Hell Camp a few weeks back. They're both in the same vein, talking about troubled teen camps that basically abuse the shit out of a bunch of teenagers for profit, for immense profit, I might add.
Wow.
And so, like, I happen to watch these so close together, and this whole time I was like, this feels so fucking like wallpapery for that industry, and I can't imagine that back in this day people really knew that, or if that was fully formed yet. I think that happened really more towards the end of the 90s, where people started really knowing about that and questioning it and all this stuff. But man, it is like it just hit, like, it made this movie hit really fucking weird this time. I'll be honest with you. It might be a bad beer situation to that degree, but not entirely.
I'm sorry.
Well, I think it's like, I don't know, maybe the opening scene too, I was like, okay, I feel like this is showing the budget, but just like, let's shoot in this location where we know not a lot of people are going to show up, but makes no sense to the plot of like, let's just pick up a bunch of kids under this bridge. It's like, why?
You gotta get them in the woods.
Why would that be the meaning?
You gotta get them in the woods.
Because it's cheap to film there.
Exactly. Yeah, there's going to be no public people walking.
Yeah, your dad thinks you're sad, and so he wants to send you to this camp. So he drops you off underneath a fucking urban ass bridge.
Yeah,
with
right.
Nobody around.
Dude.
He just drives away. What the fuck?
That's
There's no
truck
cell
too.
phone.
He looked like he might have been Cooterish. I don't know.
Who knows, man? I was trying to figure out what was going on. Is like, his dad hate him, or like, it doesn't seem like that. Like, the whole situation with Seth is very confused to me.
I think he says his dad, whenever he left him in the woods, he just got drunk and wandered off without him.
Yeah, so now he left him in the city instead to help fix
left him
that.
under a bridge.
I just want you to get better, Seth.
You got all this trauma from what I did to you as a child, so now I'm going to leave you in the city as a young adult. Work.
All right, I'm gonna go get obliterated. See you later.
Yeah.
Later,
Go
nerd.
get drunk at the bar.
Oh man.
Tip your mother.
God.
Damn.
But yeah, I don't know, man. That shit's like, and that's the closest we get to like a lot of pathos for anybody, except for what was it, Kelly? Is it Kelly that was the quiet girl?
Yeah.
Like, that's as close as we get. The rest is like, there's like a rich girl that's there and has gone there many times apparently, and her
She's into
like,
Rome.
hottie boyfriend or whatever, who I couldn't really figure out his deal. He's just sort of like maybe a little bit of a troublemaker, a little bit of a
He needs
bad
to learn
boy.
how to park. That's
Maybe they were saying his steroid use was his problem.
Oh, so he brought more
I don't-
steroids. Got it.
Yeah, I don't know.
And Trojan.
But he never like has a point where he's like I gotta get my steroids.
Yeah,
He's not
no,
exactly.
no, like,
he's in
fine.
good shape, but he doesn't exactly look to me like the kind of guy who's like on tons of steroids. He's not like jacked.
I don't know, man. It's just very like, I don't know what these people are actually trying to accomplish or how they know each other. It just feels all very sketchy before Jerry and Sir walk into the frame. Like, that's fucking crazy.
You're right, and I think they normally have a moment in movies like this where they get to a camp and they set up the camp structure, what the area looks like, who's doing what, counselors, you know what I mean? The people, we would have got to know Charles and what's her name, Holly Moore, maybe, or something, what their motives are and why they do this. I don't know. The relationship between Melissa and Holly, none of that's really shown to us or developed at all, or
That's
even
true.
spoken
And like,
about.
I think
And
there's this
again,
moment where the adult is I think it's when he's doing the
Yeah, the
recorder,
window.
and it does this weird kind of choppy montage, and like Carlton is just like throwing axe and shit. That's the sloppiest shit.
He can survive
It's
the
like
city, then
the
he can
slowest
survive out there.
montage, just showing everybody doing the most plain ass shit, like walking through the woods.
it's very fucking like, yeah, I don't know. Like, this is the other thing is, like you mentioned again, have they been here before? Because it seems like they haven't fucking been here before, and nobody has. I don't know what, like, how did these people meet? How did this happen? Like, this doesn't make any fucking sense. I don't know what to do with this shit, man.
It did
I have an idea.
I was gonna say it took like way too long to get to the tick action. I think there's like a solid 40 minutes of like setup and character building.
Is it that long?
Yeah, but
Yes.
I don't know that they do much with it because at the end of the day, as we have just discussed, we
doesn't
don't
show.
fucking know hardly anything about most of these characters. So it's not like
40 minutes is half the movie too.
It is,
Like,
yeah.
that's nuts.
Not long, yeah.
problematic.
Well,
I
to
feel
be
like
fair, I mean, there's moments. I mean, so they do set up. I mean, to be a little fair, not much, but in that time they are setting up Sir and Jerry as being creepers a little bit, so you get a little bit of that threat kind of coming through, and then we do get a couple of scenes with Clint setting that up. So little.
He's not used a lot. He's not utilized that well.
Yeah,
No, they definitely needed more of him too.
Yeah.
I think they could have done, but I like what they did with him. I'm going to agree with what you guys said earlier. Like effects wise, this movie is pretty good. Like for its general everything else, that stands above everything else for sure.
Yeah,
But it's the like this again. Like I thought I saw you using his name, and my thought was, okay, that explains the goop, but that doesn't explain why the characters are all so flat, or like, and there's only a couple characters that are like funny big, the way that like fucking. Dr. West is or something, and it's Sir, who is still also kind of poorly defined in my opinion, and Alfonso Ribeiro, which is just like a painful stereotype almost. So I don't think there's a lot to hang your hat on here in terms of characters. And then like they do try and build some pathos for Peter Scolari's daughter who is there, but this is the thing is like I had to like I don't know about you guys, but it took me a minute to realize who she was in relation. I thought she was just another kid. They didn't really do a lot to like inform us what that dynamic was. They do all this like monologue, all this like exposition, but none of it ultimately leads anywhere, and it misses key gaps where you just have to be like, oh, this is his daughter. Oh, she doesn't like him, or she doesn't like I don't what and ultimately that doesn't factor into anything either. So yeah, all that shit kind of like. There's no arc to this movie, really. It feels like they tried to, but it's too confused, and a lot of that also is the editing. Have you guys noticed how fucked up the editing is in this movie?
Well, fucked up, not necessarily. Sloppy, yes.
A little choppy.
Well, that's what I mean. Yes.
Yeah. Well, like I was seeing even with the montage, it's just like so slow and weird and awkward. Yeah.
Did you guys notice that Seth Green goes from pushing a fiery broom into this giant monster's mouth, having it explode, to immediately being in the driver's seat and driving everyone away?
Right. That was the most noticeable one. Yeah.
Like, shit like that. Like, but it's not the only thing like that either. So like that shit was driving me nuts throughout the movie, where things would just be. There was also like when Alfonso Ribeiro was like off at the distance and you see him in the background for the first time, and he's just like there suddenly. Like,
did you see when he gets shot? When he gets shot, there's a moment where he's like, and he has to like have his arms up just so the squib can go off in camera. It's like a still almost, like he has to stop. Like he's walking, stop, and then move again. And you can kind of catch it. And then he falls down the hill like, oh. It's funny.
My God.
Yeah.
Perfect.
I think actually, plot-wise, I think the grower situation would have been an interesting thing, and don't even do the ticks. Like, just have these like backwoods growers that are the main threat. You know what I mean? And like, you just happen to stumble across their fucking the crops, and now they're trying to kill you. You know, and it's just like a slasher kind of deal and a camp.
There are
like,
a few movies that take that angle.
Yeah,
not with the kids at camp.
Yeah, no,
like that, right?
What was that? What was
the
that one
beach
from the
has
festivals
elements of
last
that?
year?
The green room.
Trimming season.
Yeah, green room.
Yeah, trimming season.
Oh yeah, trim season.
Trim
season. Yeah, trim season does. There are a couple movies like that. Even I mean, it would have been not in the same way, but kind of Deliverance has a similar kind of idea. Well, if maybe even the ticks are the best kind of part, but even just like to move those first 40 minutes along is like you probably could have picked that up like 20 minutes earlier, so there was already a threat.
Yeah,
and then also the ticks kind of come in, and then you're like, oh, it's like a double threat.
I feel like some simple rewrites of some of these, like the nuts and bolts of these characters, could have like at least tied everything together a little closer. Like, instead of Peter Scolari being this like white bread dude who does nothing, basically, you could have him be like the nice guy sharecropper who is trying to keep them safe from like his boss or his competition, who's trying to like intimidate him by intimidating his family and the kids that are there or something. and have that be a push and pull. Where
have a sympathetic drug user, Randy.
I know that's the thing. Is like this movie is like so.
They're all sinners.
It's criminals. This is like a chick tract that has Brian using the directing it or like involved with it. It's fucking weird.
Maybe get them in the house earlier with the tick situation, the threat, and then like they're like boarding up the windows. Give me like a little bit of a nightmare. I mean, Night of the Living Dead sort of situation. You can get out of the house too. You don't have to spend the whole time in the house, and then they have to kind of work with Sir a little bit, and then he turns them on them or something like that because he's going to do it eventually anyway.
Yeah,
and
even just having more of him, since he is one of the most interesting characters, I think if we had them earlier as a threat, because they come in like towards the very end. They just show up when they find the sheriff in the pond, and then they have a little exchange with Alfonso.
Which did we even see them all have an altercation with the sheriff? I don't even remember seeing that.
No, that's totally
it's implied.
Yeah.
And that was it's implied,
and then they eventually by that, say to be so. Honest, yeah.
And then the ghost of the sheriff later, like
that hallucination.
Yeah,
like I kind of like the hallucination angle, even though that is fucking ridiculous. Like it's a very silly thing, but it's a good device. I think they could have used that to better effect in other places.
I would have preferred that be the end of Sir though. Like his henchman dude like fucks up and runs him over. Like then they keep him alive longer for no reason really.
If this is truly an anti-drug movie, maybe it's that the ticks carry a toxin that it's not that we invent this thing where ticks make people hallucinate. It's where these ticks make people hallucinate because they're toxically mutated. And so like by the end of the movie, all these giant ticks we're seeing, they're not there. They're hallucinations, and all these people are like sharing like fucked up hallucinations, and Seth Green has to somehow like overcome his anxiety and use some technique that he was not good at in the early part of the movie to calm himself down and figure out
the
what
hero
to do.
moment.
Sweeping.
Right.
He gets really good at it all of a sudden.
That's sweeping. Yeah. What if they made him sweep the whole time at camp?
I just
and then
can't
he
sweep.
Finally got
I just can't figure it out.
I just don't know how to hold a broom.
Teach me, Charles. Teach me.
Oh God.
He goes to sweep camp.
Whenever I grip anything, I get aroused. I don't know how to do it.
That hard wood in my hand, Charles. God.
Dang, 14's hard.
Help me.
There's no like teen stuff. Not that I like, but there's no camp stuff either here. Like, there's that little bit, I guess, with Rome and his girl, where they sneak away to have some snooky. Moment.
There is that. They have a brief moment where they have like a cookout, just like they're grilling burgers and dogs and stuff, and I guess it's like a very brief character building moment. Something that like really stuck out to me in that scene was they have a beer pitcher full of milk on the table, and it's just like open and outside. And that seems like
that won't get us.
And next to the OJ.
Oh God!
Or like somebody who's never been to the woods.
Yeah. Like, what are you gonna do if nobody drinks all the milk? Like,
put it back.
I mean, you have an open thing of.
I don't know.
No, you do.
You have an open thing of milk. What? Like, bugs love that shit. They're going for that shit. Like
a thick, like half-inch layer of flies on the top. You gotta like skim off.
Yeah, really. Jesus Christ.
That's how they make the cheese.
It all comes back to Wisconsin cheese. The curds, I love them. They squeak. They squeak in your mouth. I think we probably got through everything that we need to talk about for this. Any other major points you want to hit, boys, before you rate it?
What the hell was that breakfast that Kelly was cooking when the sheriff showed up?
It was like, I think it was pancakes. I couldn't tell
French
who
toast
was cooking.
Well, like pancakes.
I think it was Kelly. And there was like white goo. Was that like supposed to be sugar batter. Frosting or something?
No, I think it was pancake batter, and she was fucking up like.
Oh, okay. She was just pouring like raw shit on there.
Yeah,
I gotcha.
She's fucking up, man.
Oh, one thing I did like that. Did you guys the noise? I thought the sound design was pretty funny. There were moments with like you mentioned in the lab, at the veterinarians. Yeah. When that thing's scurrying around, the sound, it gets on like all these different surfaces, and you can hear like, and then when it gets on the chalkboard, the chalk holder, like the metal part, it just the noise, the sound effect sounded like a cartoon or something. It was funny.
Yeah.
Tell him it's
Just kind of dumb stuff like that.
Suckheads.
Open season on Suckheads. Yeah, the sound design was solid. I like the score for this one too. Overall, the movie sounded pretty good, I think.
There were times where I was kind of impressed by the score, and then there were times where I thought it sounded kind of cheesy. Because it caught my attention kind of early on. I was like, oh, this is interesting. But then other times I was like, oh, this sounds really stock or weird, not appropriate for what's going on. So back and forth on that.
All right.
There's a funny moment.
Me at all.
The moment with Sir when they close the door on what's his name's approaching the door, Daryl, and he knocks on the door, and Sir's like, "Don't open the door." I said, "Don't open the door," and then he pulls out his little blade, but then he just comes. Like he doesn't
and smiles with that.
Yeah, I'm like, is this guy a villain or is he not? I can't tell if it's just an act he's doing. Like at that point, he hadn't done anything too like crazy yet. So.
I mean, at that point, they were on the run from the same monsters. But I guess, like, it didn't occur to me in that moment. I was like, why would anybody listen to this man saying this? And he's just like, you don't have any fucking authority here. Until he pulls out the gun, it's like, what the fuck are you talking about? We're going to let and he seems like they think about, like, maybe we shouldn't let him in. It's like, what are you fucking talking about? That's the kid you're responsible for his welfare and shit. Like,
yeah, that you've been looking for.
I don't know, man.
They're just
Are there sequels?
Tick's Deuce? I don't think so.
No, because they set it up, so brilliantly with the.
We need the trilogy.
We need it. We need it. Seth Green, where you at?
Directed by David Gordon Green. Let's go. Ticks.
Thank God.
Tic-Tac 2, Electric Boogaloo.
Even more.
Seth
ticks.
Green is now the counselor. He takes all the kids out. You know how this goes.
He's
there you go.
trying
That's
to
a great
get
idea,
out.
actually.
They're drinking milk out of a pitcher. It's great.
Mm-hmm.
Ticks.
It's a real perfect.
Who's next to hold?
Filthy vermin.
Sure. All right, let's go ahead and rate this thing out of 5.
Okay.
Hydraberg, why don't you kick us off, man? How do you feel about Ticks?
All right, so Ticks, it's a campy camp creature feature. I appreciate some of that, like the setting, and I like creature features. I like seeing the little ticks scurry around. They're probably being pulled on like a string or something like that, but they look pretty cool. There's cool sound effects that accompany them as well. I like the design of the bugs. I think they look pretty cool. There's some decent gore involved with them as well. Clint Howard, especially, like his face piece, and they reuse it too. It's like almost like they were like, well, that looked pretty cool, and that was most of the budget. So where can we reuse it again? And they did like, oh, we'll have a nightmare where what's her name has a vision, and there he is again. Yeah, so I appreciate that he was in it for the small bit that he was. Surprisingly, I thought the acting wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. Don't get me wrong, it wasn't like stellar or anything, but it wasn't as bad as I really thought it could be. Like, this movie could have been a lot better, I think. It had the elements to be a little, if they just tighten it up. I like the sound effects, like I said, for the bugs. Overall, there's some fun to be had here, but not a ton. Like you said, if you watch it with buddies, it'd be fun, I guess. We said it's pretty tropey. The one black character being street tough, hood kid. I don't know. And also having Colton play him against type just doesn't really fit if you're even going to do that type of character. The group of kids just overall, they don't blow my socks off. They're just like serviceable. They're just characters like kind of garden variety camp goers in a horror film. It just, nobody really is fleshed out. The poor dog, that bothered me, but I won't like hurt it too much for that. I just don't like seeing dogs get hurt. And it just takes too long for the ticks to show up. Like, really? It's a movie called Ticks.
The ticks never came.
That's true. There's just not as much memorable about this, too. I mean, for a bad movie, sometimes you need some of that. At least it's recommended to people. I don't know. It had some fun bits, though. I don't know. With that said, I'm going to give Ticks, I'll give it 2 out of 5.
2 out of 5 from Hydraberg. Randeezy. How do you feel?
Oh, to me, yeah, I've seen this movie twice now. Both times have been on my own, just kind of watching. And that is not the ideal way to watch this, but I gotta say, even with that in tow, this one had diminishing returns for me. I definitely think that I enjoyed it more the first time out of a bit of a novelty. The novelty was not really there for me this time, and the waste of people like Peter Scolari and even Seth Green, I feel like was wasted in this, which, I don't know. It just seems like this, from a story perspective, there's nothing really to hang your hat on. From the character perspective, the ones that are the most interesting or the most like bombastic in their own way, like and watchable, are a stereotype, and B, not in the movie enough to really make a whole lot of sense to me, and doesn't hold it up. So yeah, it doesn't do a ton for me, this thing. And I will say that the things that I liked about it were mostly centered around the creature effects and those sort of things. Didn't like the editing, and I didn't notice the score really, but like those creature effects were pretty fun and cool. Like, and the kills were pretty fun and cool. Clint Howard, his death and his whole deal was enjoyable to watch. We needed just more of that. But like as far as like a story arc and all that stuff, it doesn't work for me, man. It's confused and it's unfocused, and it doesn't seem like the movie does itself any favors when it gets the chance to. So yeah, I think that I'm gonna also land on a 2 because there are some enjoyable things in this. Justin, like you said earlier, there are definitely movies that are harder to watch than this one. And I can be a little bit of an apologist for some of the schlock, but this one doesn't hit me just right. It rises just above the pack in schlock for me. 2 out of 5 from me.
Whoa.
How about you, Bob?
Well,
Do you want to go next?
Yeah, I'll hop in here. So yeah, I'm of the same mind pretty much. The creature effects work really well. You see a couple familiar faces that are a lot of fun. But overall, this movie is not super memorable outside of those 2 things. The story is extremely thin. The characters barely have any arc or development. And it's not like goofy or silly enough to like really be having a great time with it, but it's also not like poorly written enough, or the effects don't fall flat enough for you to like really dislike it. It's just like kind of percolating, kind of simmering, to where it gets a pass, but it's not like I need to make sure everybody I know watches this movie because it's super great or super memorable for any one particular reason. Definitely takes too long for the ticks to show up. And the panic is just like a shitty stereotype, unfortunately. But it happens sometimes, I guess. It's all right. I think a 2 out of 5 is where I'm going to sit with this one as well.
I'm gonna rip the fucking head off!
Juice, how do you feel?
Yeah, I'm glad I kind of came into this one completely blind, because even when I first saw the little still, I was thinking like, oh God, this is going to be a rough week. And to be fair to this movie, it wasn't as much of a slog as I thought it would have been. Especially from the very beginning, even the opening scenes, getting dropped off onto this bridge, fucking Carlton showing up, and this stereotype, and I wasn't sure. I didn't know if this was going to be a comedy or anything, so I was like trying to get the vibe of what they're going for. I was like, is this some kind of satire or? But no, it's just poorly written, 90s B movie or whatever. But and that definitely, I think, is the worst thing that has aged about this movie for sure. And it's just stupid to begin with anyways. I don't know. Did this had to have come out around the same time or after Fresh Prince, right? When was Fresh Prince real big?
Like, that started in like late 80s, early 90s. Like,
okay. So he was already like, he was known as Carlton at this point. So it's just kind of
in there. 1990 to 96. It was
okay. So 3 years. Yeah. So it's just ridiculous to have him play this kind of character anyways. But so yeah, that's the worst thing. But the best thing about it is I do think that the tick stuff, which is what the movie's about, holds up pretty well. It's like, was interesting and fun. The dog scene in the vet is really good. The ending scene where the ticks, there's a fire in the forest and they're all running toward the house and you can hear them crawling on the ceiling, and some people are like getting bit and pulling them off and stuff. I know that all worked for a creature feature. And And then, of course, the giant one at the very end was very silly, but also like kind of fun in this like little battle. Unfortunately, you know, the editing does hurt it. This just like boring ass characters definitely hurt it. I wish we got some more of Clint. Glenn Howerton is in my mind. Like, it will not leave my mind.
Howardton.
Yeah, Clint Howard. Definitely should have been more of that. Definitely should have given us more of like Sir and maybe just their aspect of what's going on in this town or whatever. But you know, I think I'll just stick with everyone else. I think 2 out of 5 is fair. For the creature stuff is the best part for sure. So yeah, 2 out of 5.
It's a weird fucking movie, man. This movie came out 3 years after Arachnophobia too, by the way. This movie could have desperately used a fucking John could have really used a John Goodman.
Or just a better script, really. Yeah. For those keeping score at home, that makes our aggregate a 2 even. As per usual, whenever you guys pick a movie for us to review on the show, you're welcome to send an email or a voicemail with your own rating and review for your pick. And your boy Naderade shot us over an email. And Juice, you got that pulled up?
I do. Here we go. I'm infested. Hey there, fellas. Naderade here, writing in my review for Ticks. I watched this movie a lot as a kid with my siblings. It was playing all the time on Cinemax when I could get Cinemax for free on cable. Seth Green is one of the stars in it, and I was a big fan of him back then because I watched him in movies like Stephen King's It and Airborne. Was he in Stephen King's It?
Yeah.
Really? God, I haven't seen that in a while, I guess.
Not Eddie. He's the comedian kid.
Oh, okay. Damn, need to revisit that one. Both classics. The scene that scared me the most was obviously the giant roided up tick that grows out of Alfonso Ribeiro. So yeah, I have a lot of nostalgia for this movie, which is honestly the main reason of why I picked Ticks. It's not a great movie by any means, but I am more curious what today's fresh viewers would think of this movie. Watching it as an adult, it still got some charm to it. It does make for a fun, campy insect creature feature. The practical effects still hold up, and it cracks me up to see Alfonso Ribeiro trying to play a thug, which is the complete opposite of his more famous role of Carlton Banks in The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. One part that did run chills down my spine was when Alfonso walks up to his dog and sees it having a seizure on the ground. Being a dog lover and owner, that really got me. Yeah,
me too.
Me too. Yeah. And he, you know what? To be fair, he played that up. So that's kind of the thing. It's like he played that scene well. It's like if he's given something better to do. So yeah. Anyways, I at least hope y'all had fun time watching Ticks. Again, it isn't a great movie, but I do hold a lot of love for it. That being said, I don't really know how to rate it, so I'll just give it a solid 3 stars. Hashtag sopping wet for soju. Damn guy, change of draws. Wow. Hashtag justice for Jason Goes to Hell. Ooh. Love you guys. Love the slack. Keep on chilling.
Justice for Jason Goes to Hell. Yes.
Man, that's the first time that hashtag's ever been used.
I think if anything, this movie is a PSA to, look out for ticks in the coming warmer months. I actually have
especially. So you look out for ticks and you look out for those evil sharecroppers. They're coming.
I have a horrifying tick story.
Spill it, girl.
Real quick, I'll hurry us along. I was playing hooky back when I was in high school. One day from school, I was laying on the couch watching The Price is Right, as one does. And as a teenager does as well, I was cupping my balls, the old boys down there, kind of hanging out on the couch.
Gotta keep them warm,
And I feel a little something that doesn't belong down there. I'm like, what is this? It's, it's right by the base there. It's the cockpit, if you will. And I'm like, this doesn't feel right. So I check it out and I find it's a tick. And he's dug in there. Home alone, I got to take this fucker out. I don't really want to have to go to the doctor about this unless I have to. I'm used to ticks, at least, just not in this area, of my body, because I grew up in an area where we were always taking ticks off or checking for ticks. So I had to, what I did was I lit a match head and then blew it out and put the match head to it real quick and it let go. And I grabbed it with a tweezer and yanked it out. It wasn't, pleasurable at all, but dude,
It wasn't.
I was just relieved that I got it out of
kink.
there. Yeah, bro. Yeah,
Burn my balls.
Damn.
Ticks with dicks. That's right.
That's intense.
TikTok,
Yeah, I do
yeah,
not
this is
want
TikTok
a
after
tick on my
dark.
dick. Yeah.
It was a tough one,
Damn.
but
That's-
it hurt a little bit. But
That's why you always cup your balls. Al Bundy is checking for ticks. That's what he
that's
knew.
right. That's what
Well,
you did.
I was going to say before you started your story that's kind of a good point, though, too, about, we talk about horror kind of living in your mind and Jaws being scared of going in the water. You know what? To be fair, if you saw this, especially when you were younger, you probably be doing extra, tick checks after you went into the woods or something. It could definitely, I could see it living in the mind of like a younger viewer of, ticks, the threat of ticks more extreme than it would be. So
I don't think that's a PSA that's greatly called for, but yes, it could
gotta
be.
get the head out
check for ticks.
Gotta
You could
check
hallucinate.
and then keep an eye on the bite.
Oof, yeah.
Thanks for thanks for picking this flick, Naderade. We do appreciate it. Thanks for being hard with us, and thanks for sharing your dick tick story.
That's right.
Appreciate it.
The only thing that would make me watch this movie again, I think, would be in that scenario where it's with a bunch of your friends, because I'm very curious what it would be like to just like laugh at the movie and fuck around with the movie.
It'd be better.
I'll give it at least like a half-star experience.
It's gotta, right?
Yeah.
There's no Yabos. I was surprised.
That's
It's
true.
made for
you know?
TV.
I know, that's the real crime.
I was expecting it just because it's like a camp film. I'm like, there's gotta be Yabos at some point, right?
There's too much fucking shit on me, I can't.
Oh, Randy, you were saying that you could only watch the PG version, right?
Oh yeah, I watched started watching this version and they just like muted out curse words. I was like, what the fuck is
Wonder
this?
if they took any of the gore out or anything like that.
Not
I-
on the
I
Vinegar
thought that,
Syndrome
but-
disc.
I didn't know that there was an R-rated version until Hydra, you posted it. But
Yeah.
like I had already seen it. I was not going to watch it again. I didn't have time to anyway. I had to work this weekend. But
Because the two covers
like,
were right next to one another on Tubi, and I was like, what is this?
I searched on Roku and found it that way. But the thing is, like, in order to check, I went through, like, it's available on a lot of services that have ad supported services.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, I looked at it on Vudu, on all this other stuff, and the timestamp was still the same. So I feel like there wasn't, like, I assumed, okay, this must be the only version, and they just, for some reason,
Maybe it's just
muted
the
out
music,
all
the curse words that they're bleeped
I think
out.
it must be. I think so. I mean, because we all know
Watch your profanity.
you gotta watch your profanity.
You got to watch it. You know what else you got to do is guess what the critics and users think about this movie over on Rotten Tomatoes.
Certified fresh to death.
And that was the tee up for all ages right there, man.
There
I
you
like
go.
that. All right. Yes, this is the segment in which we have these gentlemen guess within the best of their abilities what the aggregate positive score is on RottenTomatoes.com for the film Ticks, or Infested, if you rather. I'm going to start, as we always do, with the critical review. There are, and I'm not kidding, 7 reviews here. So,
Damn.
let's start with our esteemed guest Heidelberg. I can't do that level
I was going to
of
do
math.
it. I was going to do it.
Okay, so it's going to be one
It's
of a certain number of
14.2,
interviews.
so divisions of almost 15.
Yep. So, what do you think that these 7 reviewers, out of these 7, what percentage would you say are positive reviews?
How many are there? 7?
Just the 7. Lucky
And they're
number
critics?
7. These are critics, supposedly. I mean, they're RottenTomatoes.com critics, so that could mean a whole lot of things.
I don't know, man. I'm gonna say like
Really?
10%.
10%.
That's high, probably.
Okay, all right. 10%. All right, we'll go to Bob next. Bob, how about you?
I'll
Ride
take
that meat.
15.
Okay, the over. Juice, how you doing? How you living?
I'll take the high end with 20.
20.
Bob's
All
meat.
right.
Make Bob.
So,
I am meat.
this the correct number and the closest number are 51 percentage points away.
Shocking.
This is a 71%
What?
Wow.
critical review.
Get out of here.
Soju's going to take this one.
Wait, so what? The actual nut? Wait, was it 51 or 70? I'm confused.
You were 51 points off.
Oh,
71 is the correct answer.
Whoa,
Yeah.
God, that's surprising to everyone.
Yeah, I don't think anybody saw that shit coming.
No.
Damn.
These are the same guys that rated Saw 10.
Dude, oh my God. Good call.
They are the only ones allowed on this particular film.
Socks.
Man, this is a very loved film amongst 7 people. We know that much.
That's crazy.
That's weird.
Let's jump on over to our audience score. And even there, it's a pretty paltry number. There's only 500 plus ratings from the audience here. But still, a damn sight more than 7. So we'll go in reverse order. Juice, where do you think those 500 plus ratings are going to net in terms of positive scores?
I don't know. I mean, I guess if people are getting on here Rotten Tomatoes to review it, I guess they'd say something like "Hell yeet!"
Son of a bitch.
Flipped it in there.
I'm gonna rip the fucking head off.
I don't know. I'm still gonna go a little bit lower, but I'll say 55.
55. All right, Bob, it's your go. You going over? You going under? Where are you headed?
What do the people want? The people want me to say the number 69.
They want that. That is what the people truly in their heart want.
That's what they want.
It is. All right, Heidelberg, round us out. Where are you going?
I'd be honest. This is where I was going to judge higher. I was going to go higher on this one for sure. I thought some people that really would dig this, that are horror fans, but critics was, I don't know. Let's go 60%.
60%. All right. So let's see. The correct answer will be 25 percentage points off.
Oh, okay.
And
you
that
keep
correct
psyching
number-
me out with that first number, Randy.
Sorry. It's 25 percentage points away from glory. This is a 30% audience score, meaning
Whoa.
Soju's going to take this one as well.
Oh, sweep.
That's
There you go.
ridiculous, though. That's the exact opposite of what I would think would be happening. I would have
I
switched
know.
those numbers. If you gave me those two numbers and be like, which one's which? I would have.
Yeah. Well, I don't get
That's
it.
crazy.
This is the wildest fucking.
Are we not men of the people, I guess?
I don't know. I
Never.
guess we're just
Never had
men of
been.
the hell yeet sweet.
Jesus Christ.
Fucking idiot.
Thank you, Randy.
Yeah, so I would normally at this point read some Rotten Tomatoes reviews, but there are 7 of them. None of the users are listed. 7 of them, and only the
They're all
positive ones. Only the positive ones have any commentary at all. So we're gonna skip that and just call it a day on Rotten Tomatoes. Yeah, this is a weird one.
That's
This is a real weird
super
one.
weird.
I don't know. Maybe Naderade rigged it or something.
He's on there just
Paid off
for the
7
past
for-
month.
He
He's
does it
been
with the
making-
poll picks, man.
He does.
So inane that it's entertaining, says one reviewer. That's a positive review, and that's a positive. All right. Let's round it out. And Bob, why don't you tell us if you have any trivia or not?
There's hardly any trivia on this thing.
Okay.
Not really worth getting into, I don't think. There's just a couple little points I found. So let's go straight to Cooter of the Week.
Straight chillin'. Cooter of the
Juice, what is a Cooter and why do we hunt them?
Oh, the Cooter's a character type. Not a straight chillin' exclusive Cooter.
I love that ramp up this week. It's a good one.
3 of these 5 points to be considered a Cooter, but we want the Cooter with the most points. The 5 points our Cooterdom will be given to us now by Mr. Heidelberg. Berg, you got the 5 points?
Yeah. You got your smug arrogance. You got your manipulation, your look and attire, your sexual deviancy, and then your overall patheticness.
Whoa, we know who's got
Bravo.
official Cooter Hunter on his resume.
I feel like I'd get banned if I didn't have it, you know? I've presented you with some Cooters over the time with my
Yeah, actually, you're early. Of those 14 picks, I think like the first 5 or 6 at least were
I went otherworldly too. There's a ghost Cooter in there.
I know, yeah.
Our boy's got a nose like a Doberman. That's what we're hearing.
So, boys, who's our Cooter this? I think we got ourselves a pair.
We got us a cool duo here.
Yeah,
Start.
that's a good way to look at it. I didn't think about that, but I do have both of them together as.
I kind of want to see them apart and then just like glob them together.
Okay.
After.
Bird, kick us off.
Should I start with the small fish or the big fish?
Let's go with King Cooter tops.
All right. Well, then I'm going with Sir. Oh,
Sir.
Yeah. Cooter of the week. That's who I think it is.
All right.
I weighed several people. I weighed him, Rome, and Jerry. To be honest, the ones that stood out to me that could possibly be.
Yeah.
With our boy, Sir. I mean, just the name alone is weird. Smug arrogance. He calls himself Sir.
Call me sir.
Yeah.
What is that all about?
He demands
Sir.
it.
He demands it. Yeah.
You can call me sir. Sir, buddy, I'm your age. And were you impressing these teenagers?
Is that like a dominatrix, kind of like, something you do in the dungeon, not in like day-to-day life with complete
It
strangers?
felt kind of sexual.
Yeah.
He kind of does this. I mean, it's not quite there because it's not Timothy Dalton, but he kind of has this Skinner vibe from Hot Fuzz, where he's just like overly shit-eating grinny with everything he says and all that stuff. It's so smarmy.
Yeah.
His look and attire. He's got the ascot and the trench coat. It's a choice, and he's got the comb as
The comb seals it.
Comb, yeah, I would say so.
If you wanted to go dressed up as a Cooter for Halloween, the comb is a must-have accessory.
That'd be such a
opinion.
Throw that together.
pull if anybody could guess that costume.
Halloween's only a few months away.
I'm a Cooter.
Yeah.
I'm Sir from Ticks.
Sir.
Damn.
Oh, you turn around. I'm talking to you.
Me.
Text. Patheticness. He's a racist and a homophobe. He takes a young girl as a hostage. Pretty pathetic.
Agreed.
Sexual deviancy. This might be a reach. I don't know. He asks Panic if he likes him, if he's into him. He's also rubs his goatee a little bit, and he's like, "Oh, this must be tough to comb." I don't know.
Yeah, he's weird about that, but I think that even if you discount that, you could say that he's hanging around with the most sexual deviant motherfucker. Like, that's his right-hand boy. I don't think that you can separate that from him.
Yeah.
And he's like, seems to be encouraging it, or
he's very much gleefully twiddling his fingers as
so he likes to watch, maybe. So definitely.
Yeah.
So he's like, he likes being cucked by Jerry.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And manipulation. I don't know. He's been manipulating the town, his grow operation, and he manipulates the camp when he gets there too, to try and like get the van. Oh, you go get the van. No, you go get the van. You know what I mean?
You know,
his little personality too, his kind of like smarmy smile is got this tinge of manipulation to it. Like, I'm your buddy, guy. Right?
You know what's weird is like they show up like right after they run into each other at the fucking gas station or whatever. He shows up at their camp to tell them to like to be wary or whatever, but like these kids, like, they're not doing anything. I don't know. Like, it seems like if you don't want the kids to go looking for it, then don't go over and basically like dare them
There's
to.
a bunch of weed.
Don't go over
There's a bunch of weed nearby, so don't go near us.
Don't go over there for sure.
It's dangerous for you to go over near our weed.
Mm-hmm.
What?
Our weed. I mean, I gotta go.
Yeah, like this is a dumb man. If being a dumb was part of the Cooterdom, he would be done for sure already.
All right, well, let's talk about our boy Jerry. Jerry, he was a race car driver. He drove so goddamn
in
fast.
Another life.
Looking at tire, them teeths need to be British.
I would say the bullwhip is a little concerning.
Yeah, that's right. Stupid.
The bullwhip and the comb, man. Those.
He looks like a wino.
Sexual deviance.
Yeah,
he's skeeving on some
touching her hair,
underage children.
Yeah,
and checking his own oil.
That's true.
Apparently, you're the only one that's looking that close at his bunghole.
Maybe he was checking for ticks.
Yeah. He saw he could feel the incoming tick invasion.
He's checking the old mud thicket, boys.
Oh God!
What a name!
Tick in me.
Girl, you know I got that tick in me.
Gotta keep a clean thicket.
You know I'm hung like a tick.
God.
Hung like
I mean, if you're gonna be putting,
God damn,
you be putting berries in your butthole, you gotta have it clean.
I guess when you're hung like a tick, you got to be doing something with your butt.
Not a lot of options.
Oh God!
just turn me around, poo my butt. It's fine.
He'll take care of itself.
Oh, I got berries.
Damn. All right.
Plump, so right.
So we got licking a tire and sexual deviancy. Manipulation. Is he manipulating anyone? Can't remember.
I think he's portrayed too stupid to manipulate anyone.
Yeah.
Okay.
His arrogance.
He is.
You know, he's arrogant for sure. He just walks up to that girl and just starts grabbing her hair. And
it's like what's the name of that little creature on Jabba the Hutt's tail? That's what this guy is.
Yeah.
That is what he is.
That's it. That's all this character is, except with a rapey vibe
And a whip.
Yeah. And then overall patheticness, I would say yes. High on the patheticness.
Got it.
Yeah.
up top.
You got that in spades.
Between the two of them, this is a solid gold Cooter. This is a
quite the
5-star
pair,
Cooter.
yeah.
The Tom and Jerry of Cooters.
Mm-hmm.
That's a winning hand right there.
They really drag each other down in all the right ways. So yeah,
They complete each other.
Sarah
do.
and Jerry.
I had Rome too at first. I had
curious
made a list.
why.
I threw him on there. Well, first he pulls up in his car, skids out. I'm like, all right, bro, arrogance.
Oh yeah.
Learn how to park. You know. Then he gets out. He's got the shirtless vest on. Look in the tire, bro. You know, it could be cool. I get it. You're built, but it could also be kind of like douchey. Like put a shirt on.
Summertime, you know.
We're eating.
Keeping it breezy.
Nobody wants to see your nipples 24/7. Okay. No, I'm just kidding. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. The patheticness, the vest, maybe that was reaching, and sexual deviancy. I didn't really have anything. It was just when Holly walked up. He wakes up and he's like, "Oh, suck my whoops. Sorry, Miss Holly." You know. So
yeah, that's
that was
the worst. They're remarkably chaste for supposedly being like the bad boy. Like I don't know.
I only had him originally before I met the other two.
How about Carlton though?
Yeah,
mug arrogance.
I guess.
Arrogant, pathetic, I would say, because I feel like the thing is, like, I kept waiting for the shoe to drop on that character and for him to be like everybody to like him to expose himself as being like putting on a front. Yeah, and that would have justified everything, and they never did that. Yeah, that would have made like the pathetic.
He's a dog lover. I mean, I don't know
this movie, but that's not pathetic to love a dog.
No, it's not. I'm saying that's why I can't really see him as a
probably was putting on a bit of a front, but they never really cashed in on that.
Yeah,
they didn't. So it's tough to say. Like, I mean, he seems pathetic to me, but
what about
the movie doesn't write him that way?
The guy running the place, having sex right outside. The kids that he's supposed to be taking care of. He's having, about to bed his lady.
That's
the window open.
That's just cool, man. What are you talking about?
Yeah, that's called letting kids make their own mistakes. Yeah.
Let the boy watch.
Let the boy.
Damn.
Jesus Christ, this isn't Poor Things.
So you get this berry, see, and then you...
Yeah.
When you're hung like a tick, you gotta be resourceful.
Oh, man.
Tell him it's open season on all suckheads.
Open season on suckheads. I think the double down of
I don't think you can beat him.
Yeah, you can't beat them. That's for sure.
They're too good.
Sure.
They're too good. Solid.
All right.
I want to see some Sir and Jerry costumes this year for Halloween. That's what I want to see.
Yeah,
dude.
Incredible.
If anybody shows up at a Halloween party dressed as Sir and Jerry, I don't care if you win the popularity contest.
I can see you pull that off.
Call me.
Bob can be Jerry and Alice can be Sir.
Oh yeah, the couple's costume.
The power dynamic is dead on.
Gnarly. I mean, I do have a bullwhip though, so don't have to go shopping.
That's what made me think.
He's got to go into the bedroom to go get it.
That's what made me think you should be Jerry. For
Be right
sure.
back. It's in the
whip.
It's in the bottom drawer. You know?
It's in the black closet.
It's in Call me sir. Okay, I think we got him this week.
I think so too.
Good hunting, boys.
Good job. Yeah.
Fish in a barrel this week.
Heidelberg, you did it, man. Thank you. Let's finally get around and talk about what we've been watching this week.
Hey gang, what you been watching?
Heidelberg, kick us off, man. What else you been watching this week?
Yeah, so I watched Ticks, obviously. Thank you, Naderade. 2012 remake I watched of Maniac, starring Elijah Wood for a cut above last week. I've never seen that one. I enjoyed it. Listen to the episode, if you will. I had seen the original once with Joe Bob as well. Watched American Psycho from 2000 to cover it last night for a cut above for a March Madness coverage. What can I say? It's American Psycho. Go watch it if you haven't seen it. And if you have seen it, watch it again. It's a great film. Dune Part 2. I saw it in IMAX. Extremely well made. Very long. Yeah, I don't mind long movies, but it's just long. What'd you say, Randy?
Said that's what they say about me, but now that's the moment's passed and it's not a good joke anymore.
Oh, I apologize.
One more time. I didn't catch that, right?
What do they say about who? What?
If you don't know, he's talking
Hey,
about
folks, you know what they said about me in high school? Let me tell you.
The boy's got a great ass.
I watched Sword of Doom for Cinemigos. Excellent samurai film from 1966. You can find it on Criterion Channel if you have that. If you want to stream it, it's pretty cool, man. I enjoy some of these new, these older samurai films. They're new to me, so I like it when we get to cover one on the podcast. And last, I watched Extract from 2009.
Oh,
also for Cinemigos. Yeah, we covered it last week, and it's a funny Mike Judge film. It's not quite as good as Office Space, but it's a decent watch for sure.
Mike Judge just has this. He has such a specific cadence to everything he does, and all of it. Mm-hmm. He's like if Coen Brothers only did comedy. I really like that about him.
He has a cameo,
except it's a little more down to earth, I guess. Yeah.
He has one in Office Space too.
Mm-hmm.
I seem to remember liking that movie. I haven't seen it in years. But it's a decent one. There's a movie called Butter that is it has a similar tone, but I think is a little bit better than Extract. Have you seen that one, Heidelberg?
No, I haven't. It's not a Mike Judge film. It's just a similar.
It's not. Theme. Yeah, it's just kind of similar. It's about competitive butter carving in this small little town. It's a weird movie. It's pretty good though. Maybe worth checking if you liked Extract. Maybe worth checking out.
Okay, I'll check it out.
Cool, good shit. Ray and Deezy, what you been watching?
Oh my, not a lot. I had a very fucking chaotic week, and it seems like this week's going to be similar. So what I have watched, I finally got to watch Blackberry, speaking of Glenn Howerton, mostly on the back of wanting to see more of him and in a role that's not Dennis Reynolds. And he's great in it. It's an interesting movie, but it ultimately just feels like most of these like I don't know, corporate brand product stories that have been coming out. Like, I don't know, like Tetris was the worst of them to me. I've brought that up a few times, but they did Flamin' Hot. They did, there's a bunch of them that came out and I can't think of them all.
What is Flamin' Hot about?
About the chips.
The chips,
really?
the Cheetos, all that shit.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Have any of y'all seen that?
No.
I have not.
I watched it this week, but I'll mention it in a minute.
Okay. Well, yeah, no, I enjoyed it pretty good. I think the performances are great. Jay Baruchel was good. It's like I'm not an easy sell with Jay Baruchel these days. Like a lot of what he does in his own time is not always up my alley. I respect that he's kind of got his own thing and he only pursues that, but it doesn't seem like something that he's not a guy that's like instant gold for me, but he did a good job. And I think that like ultimately the story was small. Like it's a big story, but it seems like, I don't know. It didn't seem like a huge movie, so to speak. Like it didn't seem like a huge story ultimately, even though it was millions and millions of dollars on the line with Blackberry. It was all right. I liked it, and the performances were the best part. Thor Ragnarok. Like I said last week or the week before, Beck and I have been kind of going through chronologically. We picked that back up recently since we've both been kind of having to work while we hang out, and we needed something to throw on. And Thor Ragnarok was the one that everybody seemed to love that I never really glommed onto. And that's still kind of the case, but I like it a little better this time around. It's a fun movie, I guess. Like when I think that like some of the diminishing returns of Marvel have softened my feelings towards Thor Ragnarok. Let's see. I mentioned The Program, which is that documentary, one of the documentaries series. I only saw the last episode. Beck watched it, and I came in the last episode. There's 3 of them. And it's extremely upsetting and fucked up about kids being sent off, basically shipped off to camp nowadays on the government dime in order to be tortured and isolated for months and underfed. And kids would intentionally go to jail so they could get a square meal. It's fucked up shit. I recommend that documentary. It's directed and everything by a survivor of these camps, so you get a lot of firsthand accounting in this. I rewatched Dumb and Dumber for the first time in years, and man, I don't know if it's just my soft spot towards it, but I think that movie fucking rules. And I don't know that I knowing myself now, if I saw it for the first time this week, I feel like I would be snobby about it, but I can't bring myself to do it with this. I love this so much. That soundtrack in that fucking movie kicks ass. Yeah. I don't know the words either. No, that shit rules. And like, actually, we have a friend, Fiona, who had a cover band called I Got Worms, who only covered this soundtrack.
Nice.
For like a handful of shows.
No, that's the name of the band.
It's the name of.
I Got Worms.
I got worms.
It was awesome. And then I watched the first 2 episodes of a show called Resident Alien with Alan Tudyk, and I mostly watched it because I like Alan Tudyk a lot, and I had heard good things about the show. And having seen a few episodes, maybe even 3 episodes, I don't know that I like this show. I like Alan's performance in it a lot. He's very entertaining, but everything else around it reminds me so much of the worst aspects of Dexter that it's fucking absurd. He's like hiding in plain sight, monologuing like off camera, and like, I don't know. The characters are very thin and like soap opera-y. It doesn't work outside of Alan Tudyk's impeccable performance as like a stilted non-human being. So I don't know that I recommend that. I might not even keep watching it, but he is good in it. And for a few episodes, that was good enough. I don't know much more. And that's it for me. How about you, Bob?
Yeah, I hadn't watched a whole lot of stuff because I've been out of town most of the week. But I did watch Flamin' Hot, like I mentioned, and that was on Hulu. It's about the origin story of the Flamin' Hot Cheetos, which are fucking delicious if you haven't had them. And the movie itself is okay. It's, I don't know, nothing like super terrible about it. The performances are fine. The story is interesting. I think the main reason that you might want to watch this movie is because it is based on a true story, and it's kind of a cool story about like a guy that was a janitor at one of these plants that was making all kinds of Frito-Lay chips, and he had an idea to make these spicy Cheetos, and he eventually, obviously gets them made or whatever, and they start like a whole like subdivision about like, spicy products and stuff, and they make him the head of it, and it's a true story. This guy's like really made this giant career for himself, and I think he just retired a couple years ago. Like he was still working for the company. And like that's really interesting and cool and like inspirational, but like as a movie itself, it's fine. It's all right. So yeah, check that out. I haven't seen Air. I know that's the Air Jordan movie. I haven't seen that, or Tetris. I liked Blackberry. I thought that was pretty solid, but the cast is recognizable, and that probably has something to do with it. I also watched Joyride. I revisited Joyride this week.
Hell yeah.
I just lost straight chilling episode.
It is, yeah.
Good chase film.
Computer issue, yeah. Kind of a road movie. I don't typically love road movies, but I love movies like this that are like kind of road movies, but like in the horror genre, like Joyride,
No Vacancies and things.
Duel. Yeah, No Vacancy. Exactly.
Yeah. I have a soft spot for them.
I love that shit. The first one I saw, I believe, is Joyride, and it just like really hit my tuning fork. I fucking love this movie. It is.
Well, I sure love Steve Zahn in it. That shit is fucking great.
Yeah, he is good.
He is extremely good. And there's a whole there's a bonus feature on this DVD that I have that I never watched before, and it's an alternate ending. It's like a 30-minute long, completely different alternate ending. And I watched it, and it's interesting to see.
I think I saw it, but I don't remember it really.
I think we watched that together as kids.
Did we?
And it was just like, oh, okay. And it's just like kind of a different ending.
Maybe we talked about it when we recorded the podcast.
Maybe. So. It's
we'll never know.
Out in my mind, yeah.
They chose the right ending for sure.
Yeah.
But the alternate ending has Walton Goggins in it, which was really cool to see. That kind of blew my mind. Nice pull. So that movie fucking rules. I love it. Watch it if you haven't seen Joyride. I've also, this is the last thing I got here. I've seen a couple of the episodes from the new season of Somebody Feed Phil, which is a Netflix property. Phil Rosenthal, who created Everybody Loves Raymond and probably some other things. He is just going around the world eating great food in different cultures and making a show about it. And he works with a 0.0, which is the production company that was sort of like came up with Anthony Bourdain and all his travel shows. So it's extremely well made. And Phil Rosenthal is just a very likable, like older dude who is so excited and so stoked to be everywhere and eat everything. And it's just like a very pleasant like show to throw on. So there's a few, we watched the Kyoto episode, which was dope. There's one where he goes to Orlando and like doesn't do the theme park shit, which is nice. He goes to Iceland. I think those are the only ones I've seen so far. There's like 6 or 8. I really like that show. I recommend watching it if you're into like travel type shows. And that's really all I got this week. Juice.
All right.
What you been watching?
Continuing on my Ghibli journey, I watched When Marnie Was There. This is one that came out in the teens, I believe. It was okay. Another kind of slice of life one. Cool little settings, but overall, it was kind of lower on the list for me. Pleasant, but didn't blow my mind. Going through my MCU journey as well during my meal times, and watch Guardians of the Galaxy Deuce since I watched the first one last week or whatever, and not that great.
Hold up.
It got some weird like product placement and like everything. It somehow looks significantly worse than the first one. Like everything is mostly like CGI background stuff. It just looks like it looked a lot worse to me. So yeah, it wasn't, I don't know. It wasn't like terrible, the worst one, but it just like, it didn't hit me right, especially because I really loved the first one. The first one's really good. So yeah, a little bit of a letdown. I watched JSA, or a Joint Security Area, which is one of Park Chan-wook's earliest films. And as I was doing a little research, apparently one of Quentin Tarantino's top 10 favorite films since 1992, which was a weird parameter. Yeah.
Maybe he made a list in 92 and was trying to continue that. I don't know.
I don't know. Yeah. So, but this one has a reputation because I think it's the film he made before Old Boy, and it's more like kind of like more grounded. It doesn't have his like typical style that we know today. And it's got a really good reputation. I started watching it, and the first 15 minutes are rough. And I was thinking, oh God, what are people talking about? But it's essentially about the DMZ. The whole setting is there is an international incident where 2 North Korean soldiers were killed and one was shot by a South Korean guard because they like guard the space or whatever. And then this neutral investigation has to come in to like from Switzerland to kind of like quiet it down or whatever. So the first part is setting up the people who will investigate, and there's like some English going on, and it's really, really terrible. But then the good part of the movie is them like what actually happened. So it's kind of like an investigation thing, but it's got our boy who was in Thirst and the host or whatever. I can't remember his, but he's in it. He does a really good job. But it turned out to be, once you got past that first 15 minutes, it turned out to be really, really good. But first I was a little worried. I was like, oh, this is so good. So if you ever do watch it, just kind of get past those first initial setups. But yeah, it was good. I liked it. I revisited Aunt Mang. I was trying to do the Mang on that and fucked it up. Aunt Mang.
Ain't Mong.
Aunt Mong.
Yeah, and actually that was another one too that I held in my mind is like liking it, like pretty, higher on the list, and it was kind of bland, honestly. They started to get into a lot of product placement at that time. He was like working at Baskin Robbins and shit in there. I don't know. That
in
one
fairness,
yeah.
In fairness, that cameo of Greg Turkington is excellent for those who like Greg.
That's true. Yeah, as his boss, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Are you criticizing product placement that's about ice cream, Soju?
Well, no, I mean just product placement in general, because they did it.
Is there something wrong with Baskin Robbins?
Well, they did it in Guardians of the Galaxy 2 as well, where it was Dairy Queen, where they're like Dairy Queen. I think there's a lot of Dairy Queen references.
Get that ice cream money. Cold Stone, like, Guardians 3. Keep an eye on it.
Yeah.
Maybe to bring nostalgia too, though. You know what I mean? For that scene, because it is a nostalgic scene where they show the Dairy Queen. But
yeah. But Ant-Man, it didn't hold up as well as it did in my memory. It's kind of like just another kind of middle of the road introduction movie. Kind of hits all those same beats. And then finally, the last movie I watched, so not a strong week, but I watched Tales from Earthsea, which is another Ghibli film and notoriously like one of their worst because it was the debut film. It was done by Miyazaki's son. And a lot of people like don't like this movie. And so I went in with really low expectations, and it's not good, but not in the ways I was worried about. It's mostly just meandering and doesn't have a lot of like standout things to it. But it wasn't like offensively bad. And actually, Randy, do you remember when the first Zelda came out, Nintendo did a bunch of like products for it? I used to have this old like chest that I would keep my toys in that had like a certain art style. They had like a book too of like how they depicted Link and the wizards and stuff like that.
You're talking about the original Legend of Zelda,
the
right?
original Zelda.
Yeah, I mean they released
art style,
fuck ton of products for that.
Yeah, so the art style and design really remind me of that because it's a fantasy film, and it kind of reminds me like, oh, if they did like an old school, if they made like a Zelda movie in the 80s or early 90s, that's what it would look like. So that was kind of intriguing to me. But overall, the movie was just kind of boring. But that's all I've been watching.
Right on. It's a lot of shit, boys. We don't have any voicemails this week, but if you guys are listening and would like to call on, leave one for next week. Hit us up at 904-638-3231. Do we have any prompts we'd like to throw out for next week's show?
Call in with your tick story.
Yeah. What's the oddest spot that you've had a tick?
The old,
how'd you get it off?
The taint tick is the worst. It's got to be.
Whoa.
Right? You got to get your boy to burn it off. Burn me in the taint, boy.
You got to like sit there with your legs behind you like a baby.
And shit.
You got to hold your stuff out of the way, potentially, depending on your...
Dude, you got to
go to your gyno, buddy.
Shave
Boys, would you help me get a tick off my taint if I needed you?
That's how you know a true friend.
I would take a blowtorch to your taint. Sure.
Are you hard with us? Would you get a tick off our taint?
The question is, are you getting hard with us while we're doing this?
I hope not, because that would obstruct what I'm trying to get done there.
Too distracting.
Yes. It's in my way.
Feeling very vulnerable right now.
You should.
Anytime I get nervous, I get a boner.
It's a fear boner. I'm sorry.
Fear boner.
Okay. Scared of fire.
I'm really afraid.
It's an anxiety
of
boner.
tanks.
What do you want?
Taint ticks.
That's not a tick. That's my dick.
I'm hung like a tick. You see?
Don't burn it off. There's hardly anything there.
Stop yanking it.
Damn.
Wow, that was a roller coaster.
Whoa, where did we go? where
Call
did
in
we
now.
Just go?
Back to middle school.
Maybe this is why we don't get a lot of calls.
Maybe. Well, what's the movie for next week, Bob?
So next week, we're going to be tackling another You Pick. This is chosen by Gabriel R. The movie is Hollow Man from 2000.
Hollow Man. I forgot about
Hollow Man. What was your first experience with nipple tweaking?
Call in and tell us about nipple tweaking. Might as well.
All right.
904.
I don't know. I don't know what to prompt with that.
That's fine. Yeah, you talk about Invisible Man spinoffs or, good ones.
Is that Ethan Hawke or Kevin Bacon? I can never remember.
Are you being serious? Okay.
It's Maya Hawke's dad, actually.
Ethan Bacon.
My boy Ethan Bacon.
Delicious.
Call in 904-638-3231. Watch Hollow Man from the year Our Lord 2000. Get ready for next week's show. Hydraberg, thanks again for sitting in with us, dude. It's been a real pleasure having you on, and it has been a long time coming. You're one of the OG Hard With Us crew, and thanks for riding with us for so long. Yeah,
man. You guys make it worthwhile. You support your community and you interact. And I'm on the show now, and I'm like, I'm going to be nervous. If this was years ago, I definitely would have been. But now I feel like more like peers with you than just a fan. But I still listen every week, just like I did. I'm still, a fanboy. I still got to get all three of you on my show.
Hell yeah.
At one point. That's like the achievement there on a cut above.
We can make that happen for sure. And likewise,
we don't consort outside of this podcast, so it's going to be a tough one.
We're not real friends. We're like the boy band of horror podcasts. We were assembled by Warner Brothers to promote their movies or whatever.
That's right. That's right.
What's your name again? Randu?
This you can say that now, but that is a true thing that happened once, if you'll remember.
Oh, I remember.
Straight chilling lore. You want to spill the beans, Randy? Or
you know this story. When Justin introduced me to his grandmother in high school.
Yeah, I know this story.
Okay, well, I mean, still, I reject your tee up. Anyway,
I forgot Andy's first name.
You forget. It's like this is what's your name? What's her name? I was like, wait,
because we always called him by his last name.
Years.
Yeah,
it was earthy.
Whatever. You know what I'm saying.
It was not 5 years.
This is my friend.
We had been classmates for a long time.
To be fair, we always called him by his last name, but I didn't want to introduce him by his last name.
To be extra fair, a lot of times you called me by anything but my last name.
It's
so
true.
what the fuck?
Yeah. Or a spinoff.
Yeah, there's always more spinoffs. I have my nicknames have more spinoffs than any fucking Star Wars property.
Damn.
My boy Randy
with equal success.
Check him out.
Yeah. The margin of success is just about the same.
So check out Cinemigos, check out A Cut Above, everywhere you get your podcasts. And thanks again, man. Real pleasure having you on. Yeah.
Appreciate it, man.
Check out Hollow Man and get ready for next week's show. And until then, as always, everybody please keep chilling.
Goddamn bugs whacked his child.